I'm sitting at the Constitutional Hill, joined by the HOD of the Gauteng Economic Development, Makhukhu, Mampuru. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much.
I think to start off, can you just please explain to us what the economic development agenda is of the department?
So we are the manifestation of the provincial program, which is to transform, to modernize, and to industrialize Gauteng.
Okay.
Over and above that, we have added an element of township economic revitalization on Gauteng provincial government. So we are a department with the normal setup of a department, but over and above that, we have agencies.
Okay.
4 agencies, one of them with several subsidiaries, and 2/3 of our budget on an annual basis goes into those agencies. So they are the implementation arm of that manifestation of TMR.
Sure. So you spoke about township revitalization. What does that mean exactly?
The essence of township economic revitalization is to reverse the apartheid special outlook. If you look at the township, let's use Fosloras because I'm familiar with it. In the morning, everyone is on Berimare Road in the direction of Boxbeck. In the afternoon, they're on the other side.
Yes.
Ultimately, when we say township economic revitalization has worked, we should see a fair balance of that everywhere. In Soshanguve, in Harangua, in Mirafong, in Soweto, everywhere. So that the actual economic activity of our people happens closer to where they live.
So you also spoke about a budget that is allocated to certain agencies under the department. How many of these agencies focus on developing entrepreneurs specifically?
The Gauteng Enterprise Propeller is our primary agency for entrepreneurship development. And a fair chunk of that focus is on SMMEs and it's on township enterprises.
So township enterprises, and they're based in the township, or they were born in the township and moved somewhere else? What do you mean?
They are based in the townships.
Okay.
The whole idea is largely spatial, as in that very space that we call a township. That is where we would like to focus. We would like to focus in terms of the material with which people produce whatever they produce. We would like to focus there in terms of employment of the people where they are based. We would like to focus there in terms of the investment potential that goes in there. I mean, studies after studies after studies show that our people work wherever they work, and then they spend their money in established areas. We'd like our people to spend their money where they stay, so that money goes on to develop their spaces.
Sure. So because the show is dedicated to women, and specifically those that are in the entrepreneurship space, I'd like to know more about the support that you do give entrepreneurs, specifically now those that are female. So
the ultimate objective, obviously, of a department like ours is economic inclusion, be it of women, be it of black people, be it of young people. Now that inclusion means if we speaking specifically about women, everything that we ever engage in has got set aside in terms of target for women. So if you're talking support for spaza shops, if you're talking support for women in tourism, if you're talking support for women in innovation, so all of those things you will find. So the ultimate program of government has got a gendered perspective, because, as they say, if it's not gendered, it's endangered.
Okay, that's a very interesting statement. Do you also assist entrepreneurs with funding? If so, how do women that are watching this program right now who are in entrepreneurship access certain funding that you guys would probably avail to them?
Yes, we assist entrepreneurs with funding. Obviously, government does not have funds beyond measure. So our emphasis is ideally on getting people to have the expertise to approach other alternative sources of funding, and then we help them in business development. So yes, the Gauteng Enterprise Propeller has got funding programs that those who are interested can apply to. And then our other agencies like the Growth and Development Agency, the Tourism Agency, Cradle, Maropeng, Constitution Hill, have got elements of SMME development. And within those programs for SMME development will be programs that are specifically targeted at women. So they can approach any of our agencies for that kind of support.
You spoke about innovation, and you also spoke about tourism as well. Do you also support women that are in industries that are male-dominated, like engineering, etc.? Do you do stuff in that area?
We want women to go into any space they want to go into, and to the extent that we can be able to assist them, we'll be standing ready to assist.
Okay. So I'm a female, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm looking for assistance in growing my business and scaling it to another level. What do I do? Where do I go? Which agency would you perhaps...
Probably your first port of call will be the Enterprise Propeller.
Okay.
If what you want to focus on is beyond their mandate, they'll be able to refer you to other agencies of the department, or you can go straight to the department and the department can refer you. Obviously, as I said, you may be a candidate maybe for the NEF, a candidate for the IDC will help you to get to ultimately where you'd like to get to.
Sure. So I also know that you guys host events each year, such awards. Can you please tell me a bit about those awards? What is the primary mandate for those?
So our flagship awards program is the Township Economic Revitalization Awards, which happen during the August month. Primarily, that's where we focus on the flagship, but they can happen in any month in November, wherever. But the point here is to then say to people in townships that have made any headway in terms of their own work, whether they've done so with the assistance of government or not, for us to showcase that they're capable, and then offer them whatever we can be able to offer them at the time.
And with regards to the gender, is there a specific focus where you set aside certain awards to females, or how do you make sure that women are also
there will
not
be
left out?
an award for a best female township entrepreneur.
Okay. And how do you source them? How do you find these entrepreneurs?
We put out the adverts out there in that space. Okay. At the start of this program, we visited 65 townships in 2014. Okay. And in excess of 50,000 people came to say to us, this is how we think you can help us revitalize our townships. That feedback is the basis upon which we have since gone on to say, okay, we'll focus on these particular areas, retail, construction, all of those things that we are focusing on. Because that's what our people said, this is where we would like to be assisted.
Yeah, and I think most importantly for me, and especially being in the business development space, what I would want to know is how do you, as the Gauteng Economic Development Department, measure the impact of these different projects that you guys implement?
It's not an easy feat. Obviously, like right now, we are putting together a report that will show where we were in 2014 and where we are in 2018 as we build towards 2019, so that when we get into the next elections, we have looked into all of that. So there's more than just us who have an interest in this. There are academics, there are universities, there's other departments, there's the private sector,